Is grammar essential for spoken English? In this video, Herbert and Julia engage in a thoughtful conversation exploring this question. They discuss the balance between grammar and fluency, share practical tips, and highlight how mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. If you've ever wondered how much grammar matters while speaking English, stay tuned for this insightful discussion.
Hi Julia, I was just thinking about grammar. Do you think focusing too much on grammar slows down our ability to speak English fluently?
That's an interesting thought, Herbert. If you're constantly worrying about every single grammar rule while speaking, it can definitely make you hesitant. But at the same time, grammar is what gives structure to our sentences.
That's true. But don't native speakers sometimes break grammar rules too? Like when they say, I'm gonna go, instead of I'm going to go?
Absolutely. Native speakers often use informal contractions or shortcuts in casual speech. But here's the thing, they know when to use formal grammar. For example, they wouldn't say gonna in a formal interview.
That makes sense. So, do you think it's okay for learners like us to focus more on fluency first and worry about grammar later?
To a certain extent, yes. Fluency builds confidence, and that's really important. But if you completely ignore grammar, your sentences might become confusing. For example, if someone says, he go yesterday, you'd still understand, but it sounds incorrect.
I see what you mean. So, how can I balance learning grammar and improving fluency?
One way is to practice speaking without overthinking, but take time later to reflect on what you said. For instance, record yourself speaking, then listen back and spot any grammar mistakes.
That's a great idea. Do you think reading helps with grammar too?
Oh, definitely. When you read books or articles in English, you subconsciously pick up proper grammar. You notice how sentences are structured and how words are used.
That's interesting. And what about listening? Does that help with grammar as well?
Absolutely. When you listen to podcasts, audiobooks, or even conversations in English, you learn how grammar works in context. For example, you'll hear how tenses are used naturally, like I've been waiting versus I waited.
That's really helpful. But what if I make grammar mistakes while speaking? Won't that make me sound less confident?
Not at all, Herbert. Mistakes are part of learning. In fact, many native speakers won't even notice minor errors if you're communicating clearly. And the more you speak, the fewer mistakes you'll make over time.
That's reassuring. Do you think using apps or grammar tools could help as well?
Definitely. Apps like Grammarly or language learning apps can be really useful for practicing grammar. You can also try writing short paragraphs and checking for mistakes. Writing reinforces grammar rules in your mind.
I'll try that. But do you think children have an easier time learning grammar than adults?
They do, mainly because they aren't afraid of making mistakes. Adults often overthink. But if we adopt a childlike attitude, listening, mimicking, and practicing without fear, we can learn just as effectively.
That's a great point, Julia. So, the key is to keep practicing and not let the fear of grammar mistakes hold us back.
Exactly, Herbert. Think of grammar as the framework, but fluency is what brings it to life. Start speaking, keep practicing, and refine your grammar as you go.
Thanks, Julia. That really clears things up. I'll focus on speaking more confidently while improving my grammar step by step.
That's the way to go, Herbert. Remember, learning a language is a journey, not a race. Take it one step at a time, and you'll get there.